Hello and welcome grade 11s to the History Crew channel. This video serves as part 2.1 and deals with topic 3 of your syllabus, which is ideas of race in the late 19th and 20th centuries. We will now discuss the rise of Adolf Hitler and the Nazi Party in Germany during the 1930s. Adolf Hitler, the leader of the Nazi Party, became Chancellor of Germany in January 1933. This is similar to a president or prime minister of a country. The Nazis did not seize power in a revolution. They were given the power. Other political leaders hoped that the Nazis would solve the economic problems facing Germany during the Great Depression, which started in America, but affected the entire world. These politicians actually asked Hitler to lead them, but they would soon regret it. Hitler was soon loved by the people of Germany, because he made promises such as bringing economic freedom and removing all those who were the enemy of the German people. The people of Germany believed him, but that love would soon turn into fear and regret. Within a year, the Nazis had changed Germany into a totalitarian dictatorship and began by getting rid of their rivals, for example the communists. A dictator is a ruler with total power over a country, typically one who has obtained control by force. The very people who supported Hitler were soon in danger. If anyone was considered an enemy, they were eliminated. No one was safe. And for most of the people of Germany, they did not receive the promised economic freedom. Only Hitler, his closest friends and supporters who were willing to do absolutely anything for Hitler, such as resorting to violence, vandalism and intimidation, were benefiting. After this, the Nazis persuaded other parties to pass the Enabling Act, which allowed the Nazis to make all laws for 4 years. Shortly afterwards, the Nazis banned all other parties and Germany became a one-party state. The legal system also came under Nazi control, as there were no independent judges but only judges who supported Hitler, and there was no chance of a fair trial, especially if you were considered a threat, and no justice because the justice system would only favor and protect the Nazis. Common German people would soon suffer, and it came as no surprise that they did not receive the promised economic freedom but were instead under the control of a dictator. Enemies were removed and even publicly humiliated. In the first image, a Jewish man is being forced to wear a sign which means, "I am a racist." The Nazis often used the tactic of accusing their enemies of racism, in order to gain support. This is ironic, because the Nazis themselves were extremely racist and yet they accused others of racism. They were doing so, just to gain support of Germans who were poor, homeless, etc. In this Nazi state, Hitler then became the Führer, which means, all-powerful leader. The Nazis used propaganda to persuade the German people to support what they were doing. All forms of media, the radio, the press and films, were strictly controlled. No criticism of the government was allowed. The Nazis often told the German people of who their enemies were and would encourage their supporters to use violence and vandalize property if necessary. They would stir up crowds with angry accusations and fake promises, and then allow their members to cause chaos. The Nazis used the education system to influence the younger generation. Textbooks were rewritten to support Nazi ideology and children were taught to support the Nazis and serve Hitler. It became easy to brainwash children, who admired the Nazis for their so-called bravery and power. The Nazis deliberately targeted the young generation, specifically because they would become their main supporters as they grew older. Many of the Nazi supporters grew up believing that the Nazis were the only ones who would fight for them. The Nazis would use any opportunity to get on the media so that they were visible, and would stand out in a crowd with their red Nazi flags and armbands. The Nazis also tried to control the churches. An official Nazi church was established, and independent church schools and youth leagues were closed down. Hitler was always shown as a god and savior, as shown in the first image. Their enemies, especially the Jews, were shown in a negative way, and the Nazis would encourage their supporters to attack the Jews, as shown in the third image. In the poster, you can clearly see a finger pointing in the direction of man representing a Jew. The Nazis would force all Jews to wear a yellow star at all times, so that everyone would know who they were. The Nazis established the Gestapo, or secret police, to crush opposition and also used spies to find their enemies. People who opposed them were imprisoned in concentration camps. The Schutzstaffel or SS was an elite military unit, formed originally as Hitler's personal bodyguard and became a huge and powerful organization of almost 1 million personnel, and which committed many brutal acts under the Nazis. A branch or section of the SS controlled the concentration camps, in which millions of people were tortured or put to death. Hitler eliminated his old friends and then became the commander-in-chief of the army, and all officers had to swear an oath of loyalty to him personally. The political system carried out by the Nazis was a form of fascism. Fascists believed in law and order and obedience. They thought that having a strong leader who was in charge was important and valued a strong military and police force. A fascist leader was very powerful, and would encourage his supporters to use force and violence to gain their economic freedom and to remove their enemies. Once Hitler and the Nazi Party had complete power in Germany, they applied their extreme views about race and eugenics. Hitler also wanted to expand German control over Eastern Europe. This led to the Second World War 1939 to 1945. The world would soon come to realize that leaders such as Adolf Hitler and his Nazi Party were evil, dangerous and must be stopped. Leaders like Adolf Hitler who promote violence and hate are a danger to us all. He was able to rise to power because many naive people believed in his false promises of economic freedom and that he was the only one who was fighting for his people. The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men and women to do nothing, and when they finally decided to do something, it was too late. Thank you for watching this video, and please do not forget to subscribe to the History Crew. Enjoy your learning.